What if the greatest hero in One Piece is secretly the final villain of the entire story? The man who inspired Luffy to become a pirate. The man who gave him the legendary straw hat. The pirate that even the world government seems to respect. Red-haired Shanks. For more than 20 years, fans have seen Shanks as one of the few truly good pirates in the world of One Piece. But the deeper the story goes into its final saga, the stranger things become. Because when you start connecting the clues Oda has been leaving throughout the series, a disturbing possibility appears. Shanks may not be the hero we think he is. In fact, he might be the final obstacle standing between Luffy and the Pirate King title. One of the most mysterious scenes in the entire series happens during the Reverie arc. Shanks walks directly into Marejwa, the most protected place in the world. Marejwa is the home of the Celestial Dragons and the center of the world government. No pirate should ever be able to step foot there. Yet Shanks somehow enters without being attacked. Not only that, he requests a meeting with the Gorosei, the 5 elders who secretly rule the world. And incredibly, they accept. Think about how strange that is. The leaders of the world government, the same people who hunt pirates across the seas, willingly sit down and talk with one of the 4 emperors. But what they say next is even more suspicious. They tell Shanks that they made time for him because it's you. That single sentence changes everything. It suggests that Shanks is not just another pirate. He's someone the highest authorities in the world already know and possibly even trust. But why would the rulers of the world treat a pirate like this? Unless Shanks is connected to them in some way. Years later, another clue appeared that made fans question Shanks even more. In One Piece Film Red, we learned that Shanks belongs to the Figarland family, a name connected to the Celestial Dragons. The same group of nobles who rule the world from the holy land of Marejwa. If this information is true, it means Shanks may have been born into the highest level of power in the world. In other words, Shanks might actually be a Celestial Dragon. But unlike the others, he chose to live as a pirate. This would explain many strange things about him. It explains why the Gorosei allowed him to meet them. It explains why the Marines treat him differently from other pirates. And it explains why Shanks seems to know secrets about the world that most pirates could never understand. But it also raises a darker possibility. What if Shanks still has ties to the world government? Now, let's talk about the moment that started Luffy's entire journey. When Luffy was a child, Shanks' crew possessed a devil fruit called the Gomu Gomu no Mi. At first, it seemed like just another random fruit, but years later, we learned the truth. The fruit is actually the Hito Hito no Mi, model Nika, a legendary fruit connected to Joy Boy, a fruit the world government had been trying to capture for 800 years. So here's a big question. How did Shanks know about it? Because Shanks didn't just find the fruit randomly, he stole it from a world government ship. That means he specifically targeted the ship carrying the fruit, which suggests something very interesting. Shanks might have known exactly what that fruit really was. And if that's true, another question appears. Did Shanks intend for someone to eat the fruit, or did Luffy accidentally eat it and change everything? Another strange thing about Shanks is the role he plays in the world. Unlike the other emperors, Shanks does not seem interested in conquering territory or starting wars. Instead, he seems to act as a guardian of balance. When Kaido tried to go to Marineford during the war, Shanks stopped him. When the war between the Marines and Whitebeard's forces spiraled out of control, Shanks arrived and ended it. Even the Marines listened to him. Fleet Admiral Sengoku agreed to stop the war simply because Shanks requested it. That moment was shocking. A pirate ending a war between the strongest forces in the world, and everyone actually accepting it. It almost feels like Shanks exists outside the normal conflict of pirates and the government, almost like he is maintaining some kind of order in the world. But whose order is he protecting? There is another mystery about Shanks that many fans forget. Shanks was once a member of Goldie Roger's crew. That means he was part of the only pirate crew in history that successfully reached the end of the Grand Line. Roger and his crew discovered the One Piece and learned the truth about the world. But here's the strange part. Shanks never went to the final island with them. Before the Roger pirates reached Laugh Tale, Buggy became sick, so Shanks stayed behind with him. At least that's the explanation we were given. But what if that wasn't the real reason? Roger famously said that he was too early, meaning the world was not ready yet for the truth. Perhaps Roger realized something important. Someone needed to stay behind. Someone who could guide the future generation. Someone who could make sure the right person eventually reached Laugh Tale. And that person may have been Shanks. This would mean Shanks has not been chasing the One Piece all these years. He has been waiting for the moment when the next Joy Boy appears. For most of the story, Shanks stays in the background. He rarely fights. He rarely interferes. He simply watches events unfold. But after the events of Wano, something changes. Shanks suddenly announces that it's finally time for him to claim the One Piece. This is huge, because if Shanks truly wanted the One Piece, he could have begun searching for it years ago. But he didn't. He waited until Luffy awakened the power of Joy Boy, almost like he was waiting for Luffy to reach this point. Now imagine the final island, Laugh Tale. After years of adventure, Luffy finally reaches the end of the Grand Line. He's ready to discover the truth of the world. But standing there, waiting for him, is Shanks, the man who inspired his dream, the man who gave him the straw hat, but also the man who might stand in his way. Because what if Shanks believes the world isn't ready for complete freedom? What if he believes the balance of the world must be protected? If Joy Boy returns to change everything, Shanks might believe he has to stop him, even if that Joy Boy is Luffy. If this theory is true, then the final conflict of One Piece will be far more emotional than anyone expects. It won't just be a battle for treasure. It will be a battle of ideals. Freedom versus control. Dreams versus balance. And most importantly, student versus mentor. Luffy versus the man who started his entire journey, red-haired Shanks. And if that moment ever happens, it might become the greatest fight in anime history. But what do you think? Would Shanks ever betray Luffy? Or is there another secret behind everything he's done? Let me know your thoughts in the comments.